Welcome back to the Green Beans Go channel. It's your host, me. We have completed our AFC preview series and we are moving on to the NFC starting with this video. To begin, we're going to look at the NFC East with the Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, and Commanders. Let's hop in. Alrighty, let's take a look at some depth charts for each of these teams. Note any changes in the offseason. Not a ton, just a couple to point out at the running back position. The Eagles let Miles Sanders walk in free agency, and he signed, I believe it's the biggest running back contract of the offseason with the Panthers. In comes DeAndre Swift from the Lions, Rashad Penny from the Seahawks. They keep Gainwell and Scott. They keep Brown and Smith here, obviously, and Dallas Goedert. Obviously, they have Jalen Hurts, so not a ton of massive changes there. Down here for the Cowboys, obviously, you see a missing piece that has been there for many, many years, and that is Ezekiel Elliott. They were happy with Pollard's success last year and decided that he was their guy. They also pick up Brandon Cooks from Houston, and Jake Ferguson comes over, actually steps up. He was already with the team, and they let Dalton Schultz walk to Houston as well. Looking now at the other two teams in this division, the Giants don't change a ton, but they do pick up Darren Waller from the Raiders, which I think will help their offense, help Daniel Jones tremendously, especially when we look at these receivers, right? Hodgins, Slayton, Campbell, Hyatt, Robinson, Shepard, Jameson Crowder. I don't know who of those seven are going to be the starters. It could be any of them, in my opinion. So, not to mention they do sign Barkley to a one-year extension. So I think all of that works well, and I do think they're able to perform on offense this year and keep up with the other two teams in this division, the Eagles and the Cowboys. Moving over here to the Commanders, I don't know what they're going to do at the running back spot. Robinson or Gibson, they can't seem to make up their mind. Hopefully this year they figure it out. Sam Howell is going to lead the team. They keep McLaurin and Dotson, Curtis Samuel as well, and Logan Thomas. So I don't expect a ton out of them, but they may be able to hang around this division at least a little bit. If they go 50% in this division, I think it would be a success. Taking a look here at the win totals, my predictions are in this left-hand side, and Fanduel's odds for their season-long win totals are on the right-hand side. Normally on my videos, I have a green arrow pointing to bet I like. I don't have one on this video because I simply don't love any. I have the Cowboys overperforming this year, winning 12 games. You know, they're over 9.5, so 10 wins is juiced pretty heavy. So their fair odds are probably to win 11 games. That's too close. I have the Eagles winning 11. Their over-under is 11.5, favoring the under, so that's kind of right on my prediction. I have the Giants at 8 and 9. Their line is at 7.5, favoring the under, so I'm right on the line there again. And finally, the Washington Commanders at 4 and 13. Now, you know, maybe I can see myself saying under 6.5 wins here at minus 128. But again, not enough wiggle room and a lot of juice for a team that does play in a tough division, but maybe Sam Howell comes in and changes this offense for the better. So I'm actually not taking any win totals bet in this division. I think these are all pretty, pretty locked in. So we are going to avoid that, but I do have some season-long specials that I have my eye on. We'll start with the Cowboys for the season-long specials, and obviously injury risks are the biggest thing that hurt these markets. However, I want to look at this line for Tony Pollard. Again, this can be found on Fanduel under season specials. Scroll down to Dallas Cowboys. Tony Pollard to score 10 rushing touchdowns in the regular season at plus 200. Last year, Pollard had 9 rushing touchdowns, and Zeke had 12. So they get rid of Zeke. Where do these 12 go? Okay. And I'm not so sure that they're going to be sitting here with Malik Davis and Ronald Jones. And, you know, Deuce Vaughn is listed at 4th. I bet he sees some snaps coming in as a rookie. But ultimately, I just think that given what we saw them do last year with their running backs, and given that they had Zeke carrying at the goal line so often, he took 12 of those touchdowns. Pollard had 9 pretty much as the backup goal line running back. So this number at 10, I think at plus 200 is fantastic. This is a little bit of a flyer here. Cowboys to score passing touchdown in every regular season game. If this was at 6 to 1, 7 to 1, I'm probably not touching it, but 12 to 1 has my interest. Dak Prescott, was 1 or 2 games short last year. I don't think Dak has ever done it in a full season. So there you go. Maybe that's why. But I think at 12 to 1, it's certainly interesting to throw a few bucks on, a free bet on if you have it. And I do think it's something that we could see, given that Dallas should be in a lot of competitive games this year. Looking lastly at the Eagles and the Giants, I do not have any on the Commanders because I truly don't know how that offense is going to look. This is another one that I think is too good of a line to not play. DeAndre Swift have 10 rushing touchdowns in the regular season. Okay, so he is new here, and I don't know how they're going to use him. They have a new offensive coordinator. Okay, their offensive coordinator is now the coach of the Indianapolis Colts. Their quarterback coach becomes the offensive coordinator. So we may see some changes. However, if we look at last year, Sanders had 11 rushing touchdowns. Hurts had 13. Gainwell 4. Scott 3. So we are talking about 31 rushing touchdowns in 17 games. So an offense that obviously has weapons in the air, but that like to run the ball. So if you are, let's just say all things are equal, and we just trade out Sanders and put in Swift, Sanders had 11 last year, with Hurts getting 13. So to give me 9 to 1 at Swift to come in and get 10, which Sanders was able to do in this offense, sign me up. Okay, and maybe we say Swift is a pass catcher if you want to play that route. I don't know if I would go that far. If we look at Swift's numbers in Detroit, I think they're a little bit watered down because of how we saw Jamal Williams take a lot of those goal line carries, a lot of those touchdowns last year. So I like Swift in this spot at 9 to 1 to get 10 rushing touchdowns this season. Finally, the last line I like for season-long specials is the Giants to score a touchdown in every regular season game. This is something that they did in 2022. Last year, they were able to score a touchdown in all of their games, and I don't see their offense getting any worse. Their offensive coordinator stays the same. They signed Saquon Barkley to a year deal. Their receivers, as far as I'm concerned, are the same. They add Darren Waller. I think that at this price, $250, it is playable. And so I would recommend playing that line if you have it available to you. Short and sweet here for the NFC East. Go ahead and let me know what you think about some of these plays. Let me know what you're targeting, and we will catch you next time when we talk about the NFC North.